Came up during the break that I should have pointed out with the iPhone Photos app. Come on. Or, I'm sorry, not the app, but the camera app. There we go. So when we're in the camera, there's a little thing in the lower right here. This little guy right here. Those are filters. So, oh, I don't have a photo. Oh, hang on. So I'm going to apply the process filter to it, and we're going to take that photo. Okay? So I took the photo with the process filter. I could change it to, mono. Took both of those pictures. Now, when I go back to the camera roll, the best part about it is that isn't a color photo because I have a filter on it. I can go to edit and I can remove the filter. Okay? So it's not as if you really put a filter in front of the camera. You can apply the filter after the fact or you can apply the filter before the fact, but you can always go back and take the filter off if it's done with the phone. There's tons of different filters you can do. You can make that kind of, cheesecloth effect and things like that. So somebody asked that question. That was good.
Did you want to cover Mac, what is it, Mac Light? Or
Lightroom?
no, shoot. I'm sorry.
Well, ask a little later because I'm going to move on into Siri. So,
Go ahead.
is there anyone here that, go ahead.
On that filter, is that only for the one photo, or do you have to put it back after?
I think as you leave it on, it stays with each, if you have the filter on, it stays with each photo you subsequently take. And again, remember, it can come off right away. It's like it's just a temporary screen over it. It'll stay with the photo as long as you have it there, but you can always get the real photo that it took. It's not like you put a blue tint over the phone before you took the photo. A lot of times, again, you can filter it afterwards, but sometimes you want the filter on so you can actually see what the effect is and what you're trying to accomplish.
That was Mag Light.
MagLight, yeah, that's, so MagLight, it's one of these things, it's a great app. This isn't an app thing, it's really not much of a photo app, but in fact, it's fantastic. I'll pull it up because this is great, because yeah, the perfect point is, Apple has the smallest serial numbers in the world on everything, and of course they make them gray on gray, right? Apple. MagLight. So, I have this text here, and look how big I make it. I can make it even bigger. Oops.
And that's an app?
Yeah, MagLight and I'll pull it up here. I'll look at it. See, I can adjust the light. I zoom in, zoom out. My sister-in-law uses this to read menus. Here's what it looks like, mag.light. So it's MagLight and camera. Just look for that little logo, the one you see right there. Good one. So we're going to turn that off so I can turn my light off. Come on.
Did that say Bluetooth toothbrush that I had?
Might have. What's a toothbrush? What is a toothbrush?
All right, here's what I got.
All right. So, this class is going to be about Siri and reminders and calendars, etc. But we're going to start off by not using Siri. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go, in fact, Val, if you can do me a favor, can you send me just a simple text and a simple email so I have it so I can do that later? If just anything, just say, hi, Ken, or whatever. This is how I make sure I get plenty of emails so I feel popular. A text and an email, if you don't mind. So if I click compose in email, I would put somebody's name in. I'll just put me in up at the top again so I can get more email. And I'll put test. And then if your device is capable of using Siri, you will have a microphone right here. Now, this microphone is speech to text. Let's see if I can, hopefully it'll do that. Thank you. It will literally transcribe what I say. And I'm going to show you a little example of this. Remember, you must speak your punctuation. So, this is dictation, comma. It, quote, types, close quote, what I say, comma, most of the time, period. You can do like I do, comma, and have a disclaimer on the bottom of your email, comma, and just blame Siri, period. That way you can get away and say anything you would like, period. New paragraph. If you want to do numbers, you say numeral 1, and you get the integer. If you say 1, it's spelled out, period. Well, it timed out on me there, okay? So it goes for up to 30 seconds. So it looks like it got everything pretty right. Now, let's talk about how this works. It was recording what I said, and it sends it out over the internet to Apple's supercomputer in Maiden, North Carolina, and then consults a dictionary and sends back what it thinks I said. Okay? So it will never misspell a word, but it may get the word wrong, or it may give you the wrong context. Two, or two, for example. Now, don't forget, comma, you must speak your punctuation, period. If you say 153, comma, it does it correctly, period. If you want to say numbers correctly, you say numeral 1, then you say numeral 5, and you say numeral 3, period. Otherwise, you say 1, and then you say 5, and then you say 3, period. So if you say numeral 1, it gives you the integer. Obviously, when I say 153, it knows you want that. Okay? Numeral 1 gives me the integer, or if I say 1, it spells it out. Now, I put in extra spacing right here because I said new paragraph. So, think about the old typewriter, you had a thing called carriage return. Okay? You're typing along. Well, normally when the words wrap and they flow around. But if you want to start a new thought, a lot of times you'll hit the carriage return or return. So to do that, you say new line. And sometimes you want a double carriage return, so you say new paragraph. Okay? Remember, you'll speak your punctuation. We all spent time in a typing class learning to type. The time you invest learning how to dictate, whether it be with Siri or with this, will help you immensely. And anywhere I can type, I have a microphone. So if I go to Safari, and I go up to the top, and I say, what is the best apple pie recipe? I didn't have to type it, so it's as if I typed it, and I hit return, and there it is. Okay? So I'm simply, when I have a keyboard up, I always have the microphone, as long as I'm connected to the internet. Okay?
I might say one thing to that, it is so easy to hit that little gizmo with the faces next to the microphone, and your microphone will disappear, so you have to hold that thing down to get your microphone back.
Hold what? If you hit the emoticon?
And if you hit, I always tap that emoji thing by accident.
Then you just go back and tap the ABC keyboard.
No, but it'll keep it on for
No.
some reason. On mine it does.
Yeah, if you have a weird little internet connection, it could cause that. But for instance, I don't know why I have my emoticon on because I've used emoticon 3 times. So you can have more room if you turn it off. Keith?
So you say it has to be connected to the internet, but Siri seems like it works when you don't have an internet connection, like it works through a cellular network.
That's an internet connection.
So a cellular connection is an internet connection.
Okay, when you're away from your house, when you're at your house, you use your Wi-Fi because you have no cellular connection at your house.
Okay.
But that's using the Wi-Fi for an internet connection. When you come here, if you don't hook to this network, your phone works. You can surf Safari. That's an internet connection. Your phone has, that's the beauty of the iPhone. It has a persistent internet connection. You pay for data. You pay for voice and you pay for data. That's the data connection. You can go to Safari. You can check your mail. That's all internet. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So if I'm in a place where there's no cellular connection and no internet, Siri will not work.
No, you'll have to use the old keyboard, but then why are you using the keyboard? Because what are you going to do with it?
Okay.
So, but it's a good point.
So what happens if you're in another country in the world? Does it still come back to North? If I'm in Europe,
You'll have an accent.
North Carolina?
You'll have an accent, and if you're in another country, if you use the Wi-Fi connection,
Yeah.
then you have an internet connection.
And it'll come back to the United States and it's still in English.
It won't change. Hey, you guys.
Okay.
You guys, it's a little distracting, please. If you have a question, I'm happy to answer it. Okay? Oh, now you don't want to talk. He'll come up later and ask me right here. So remember, the internet doesn't matter where you are. It's agnostic. If I search for best apple pie recipe, it's not going to give me the best Romanian apple pie recipe. It's just searching Google for the best apple pie recipe. So your on-ramp to your internet doesn't matter where it is.
So if I'm in France and I'm on a French cellular network, I don't have to speak French to get Siri to answer a question. I can still do it in English.
Of course.
I'm just
No, it's
why that.
okay. Let's pretend like the dial tone. I know it doesn't sound the same in Europe, but the dial tone sounds the same here as it does in Europe. And that's all the internet is a dial tone.
Right.
So no. Now, there are some interesting apps for the phone if you're traveling. Google Translate translates for you, and in fact, now you can even hold it up to a sign and it will translate the sign for you. Like this way to the restrooms. Important sign. You know, don't take wooden nickels. That's another popular one in a lot of their countries. So let's go back to our mail. So, go ahead.
I know a person who always speaks French. I always speak English, and I want to understand what he's saying.
Okay, this has nothing to do with Siri, so let's not go into it. You can do translation, use Google Translate. Believe it or not, there's on-the-fly translation is happening right now. Skype can do it, where they talk in French, you hear it in English, you talk in English, goes back. But that's a whole different thing. Google Translate will do what you want it to do. Yeah, and it's free, and you speak in English using dictation, it'll type it out in French, and it'll even say it in French. So, Keith, you got us on French. Let's do Mongolian or something. So again, this is literal speech to text. And Siri can be a little impatient, so I want you, if you haven't used Siri much, start using dictation. And in fact, do like I did. I start typing out a message even on my iPad, and I go, that microphone's there. So I hit myself on the wrist, and I make sure I delete what I put, and I start speaking it. So I can learn to speak it better. I have a problem. My brain goes much faster than my fingers do, and I typo a lot. I can speak very fast, and it will take what I want. But you have to train yourself. You have to train yourself to do punctuation. You have to train yourself. And what I generally do is I kind of speak in just phrases, because then it doesn't know that the pause means a comma. You have to say comma. Siri and dictation is your digital assistant. You have to think of it that way. You can't just say, lunch, and your assistant's supposed to know what you mean. Can you tell me what's the special at lunch at a certain restaurant today? Then your assistant could go find that for you. Now, I'm going to do an example, and I'll bore a couple people that have seen this before from me. So I'm going to continue, quote, typing, close quote, with my speech, period. New paragraph. I'm drunk. New paragraph. Will I need a jacket tonight? Question mark. Now, again, it's transmitting it over to there and coming back. Most of the time it's accurate. If not, you can go back and simply edit it, Or you can say at the bottom of your email, please excuse any errors my wonderful assistant Siri made. And then I can pretty much say anything I want because I can blame it on Siri, right? I can say, oh, I didn't mean to insult that your brother looks like he's got big feet or something like that. So I could now send this email. Again, dictation is simply instead of typing. But let's think about this. What's the tough things to type sometimes? $5,465, period. 6 p.m. on January 12th, period. I should have put a year in there. But see, it formats it for you, and what a pain in the butt it is to put a $sign in and do all of that. Just speak it, and it will know what you want. Okay, so let's go back to me being drunk. So I'm going to go back to the main screen. I'm going to show you first, and I'm going to do it first and then show you how to activate Siri. So I'm drunk.
I hope you're not driving anywhere.
Now, since it'll change with a self-driving car, that won't be a problem. But she interpreted me saying I'm drunk. Remember, in dictation, she typed, or dictation typed, I'm drunk. What Siri does is adds artificial intelligence to what you said. So it said, I'm drunk, and it's saying, hey, maybe you shouldn't drive. And you know what? It says, call me a taxi.
I found 2 cab companies. Tap the one you want to call.
And those are cab companies geographically based to where I am. Now, I know in the near future that'll probably be Uber, or there will actually be it'll say what taxis themselves are very close to where I am. All right. So it knows where I am, so it put up that call me a taxi. And think about how useful that is. I just told Siri I'm drunk, and she's trying to handle it. Will I need a jacket tonight?
The low will be 57 degrees Fahrenheit tonight.
I didn't ask what the low temperature would be, but if I'm asking about a jacket, boom. All right. So it said the low would be 57 degrees. Convert 57 degrees Fahrenheit to Celsius.
Let me think about that. 57 degrees Fahrenheit converts to about 13.9 degrees Celsius.
So she'll convert that. What's the tip on a $98 restaurant bill?
Cogitating. Okay, I found this.
Will you marry me?
I sure have received a lot of marriage proposals recently.
What is the meaning of life?
I don't know, but I think there's an app for that.
What is the meaning of life?
I don't believe there is a consensus on that question.
Now, my phone's plugged into power. And if my phone's plugged into power, huh?
Hey Siri.
Hey Siri, what's the forecast for tomorrow in Paris, France? Paris is gone. Hang on here. I think we have a bad connection. So. Hey Siri, what's the temperature tomorrow in Paris, France? We broke the internet. Oh. Okay, let me do thing here. Router screen. Bear with me, sorry. I can do one other way if this doesn't work. All right, let's try my alternate method. No, you don't want to see that, trust me. Okay, there we go. My phone's freaking out. Oh, it's because I got plugged in again, sorry. So, sorry here, we're changing things that I can get it so we can see all this. Jeez, not that I had too much open. There we go. All right, sorry about that. Hey Siri, what's the current time? Ah. Hey Siri, what's the current time?
It's 10:59 a.m. Good morning.
Yeah. So, if you say the word hey and the word Siri when it's plugged into power, she will do it. Now, the only problem with that is we've recently had a lot of news reports about Syria. So if the reporter comes on and talks about the reporter and say, hey, Syria.
Hi there, Ken.
So you'll be sitting there, falling asleep on the couch, watching TV when it's plugged in, and all this phone in your phone will just say,
Sorry, I didn't get that.
because she heard the report from there. So I have a trick of the day. Now, to activate Siri first, you press and hold the home button until she beeps. Go ahead and do that. Press and hold your home button right now. And then just press and hold till she beeps and let go of it. Don't say anything. Don't say anything. Now, does everybody have this up on their screen? Okay. Yes. So we're not plugged into power. Watch this. Hey Siri, what time is it?
It's 11:01 a.m. Good morning.
Hey Siri, what time is it? Oh, you might not have Hey Siri on. Let's go in and make sure Hey Siri is on.
If we had that question.
No, but Siri's on, but there's a Hey Siri button because this is a tricky way to activate Hey Siri when it's not plugged in. So everybody follow me here. Go to Settings, because I think they used to have this on by default. Go to Settings, go to General, go to Siri, and do you guys have allow, don't say the word. Is it off or on? Turn it on. Now you know how to turn it off later if the news reports get bad, okay? So now, everybody hit your home, just tap your home button to get back to the home screen. And now press and hold your home button, but don't say anything, anybody.
Sorry, I'm not sure what you said.
Hey Siri, what time is it?
It's 11:02. Good morning.
It should be doing that on your phone. Did you turn it on? Just say hey Siri right to your phone.
Hey Siri.
So that's a way to trick it and make it think it's plugged in. So you did that by holding Siri and having it come up, and then just leave it up. The rest of the time, it will do it all the time. Now, part of the reason it doesn't do that all the time for you is because it's a little bit of a power drain. Okay, so Apple's being careful. So if you leave it up like that, you'll be able to do it hands-free. Now, I'm going to show you one thing here. This is going to be, this might work. Hey Siri, what's the current temperature? That's from the watch. Okay. Now, Siri will do tons of things. I have about 900 apps in my phone. So I have one, we talked about photos earlier, so I'm going to fire up this one app. You guys hit your home button and make sure you have a home screen because everybody's going to go crazy once I start talking otherwise. So I can say, launch TPE. And this is called the photographer's ephemeris. What it does, it actually shows you where sunrise and sunset is wherever you are, and you can pick different dates. It shows the angles of it. But that's a very obscure app inside my phone, so I've told it to launch that. I can say, launch Safari. Okay. Now, I also say, search the internet for the best apple pie recipe.
Okay, I found this on the web for the best apple pie recipe.
Anytime you have Siri up, you see this little question mark. If I tap the question mark, it shows me the things I can say and how I can say them. The important thing is, think about what you're trying to accomplish. It's pretty easy. Launch Safari, all right? So I have an action and I have an app. I can say, dial so-and-so. I can say dial a number. So if I say, dial 916-213-4596, I'm not.
Calling 911.
And that's my phone, so I don't think I want to call myself. It's kind of like email. I call myself a lot too. So I can also say to Siri, what can I say? And it brings up these actions. Now, when Siri gets really, really good, and now you see how the watch can become much more important. I can say, hey Siri, send Val Trudeau a text message. And then it says, oh, I don't show it here. It just said, do I mean Valerie Trudeau? And I'll just exit that. So the Siri, there I'm doing it again. The Siri on the Apple Watch is actually more responsive and better trying to anticipate what you want than it is on the iPhone. Tomorrow, Monday, we're going to get a preview of iOS 9, which will be coming out in the fall, and Siri is supposed to be markedly improved in that. So any of the time investments you're making with Siri are going to help you in the long run. Now, Siri can be a huge time saver organizer for you, and that's the real benefit of it. So I can say, read my most recent email.
There's one email message. At 10:24 a.m., Mecca Infinite sent you an email about auction underway, Mecca Seattle Day 2. It says, you are receiving this message
Okay? So, I'm in my car. I can read my emails. What's my most recent text message?
You have 9 messages and 8 conversations. Sent yesterday at 8:24 p.m. It says, HCCU text banking, high payment from CHKG Shingon 6/401.
Okay? So, I can actually ask it to give me my most recent voicemails also. So, I'm driving along. My phone is in my car plugged into the charger, and I say, hey Siri, read me my most recent email. Oop. It started doing it. Now, I'm going to send Valerie a text message. Actually, hey Siri, send Valerie Trudeau a text message.
Okay, what do you want to say to Valerie Trudeau?
Just testing Siri.
Your message to Valerie Trudeau says, just testing Siri. Ready to send it?
Yes, send.
And off to the cloud it goes.
Now, did you notice it read back what it typed for me? Because I have it hooked to a speaker, is the equivalent of me having a headphone on or having a Bluetooth headset or the Bluetooth in my car. Apple has what's called the Eyes-Free Initiative, which says you shouldn't have to look at your phone. We don't want you to look at your phone. You're going to text and drive, but we don't want you to do it looking at your phone or holding your phone. So it's plugged into power. It read back to me. If you do it in your phone when you have it right there, it's going to... So there's the reply. So I'll just hit close. So if you're looking at your phone, it's not going to read it back to you because it thinks you're looking at your phone. But if it's got a headset hooked to it, it assumes that it's either on your hip or in your purse or in your pocket. And it will read it back to you. Now, hey Siri, send Valerie Trudeau a text message. Hey Siri, send Valerie Trudeau a text message.
Okay, what do you want to say to Valerie Trudeau?
It's interesting how it mangles your name a little bit. I haven't taught it to spell your name correctly. Period.
Your message to Valerie Trudeau says, it's interesting how it mangles your name a little bit. I haven't taught it to spell your name correctly. Ready to send it?
Edit.
Okay, what would you like the message to say?
Maybe if I speak better, it will work. Period.
I updated your message. It says, maybe if I speak better at work. Ready to send it?
Add to it.
Okay, what would you like the message to say?
Work? Question mark? What's that? Question mark.
Okay, it says, maybe if I speak better at work. Work, what's that? Ready to send it?
No, cancel. So,
Okay, I won't send it.
no matter what I do with Siri, when it comes up, I can edit, which means start over, or add to it, which is really editing and add to it. And if I have a long phrase and then I add to it, it's going to read the whole thing again. So that's why I did a short one at the end there. Now, let me show you one last thing. Send Valerie Trudeau a text message. Luckily, she's not getting all these.
Okay, what do you want to say to Valerie Trudeau?
If I tap on the screen, comma, it allows me to edit it.
Ready to send it?
So now I tap right on the message, and it brings it up, and now I can simply edit it. I tapped before I sent it. I tapped right where the message was. What was your question, please?
You've been answering yes, send, or no, cancel. Do you have to say both?
No, I just, it's a habit.
Say yes,
Yeah, say yes or say send.
Okay.
So she's pretty good about that. So now I can tap on this and I can edit it. And remember, I have my little microphone. So I can use the microphone to edit however I want. Keith and then Val. Keith?
So, there are laws in California that if you text while you're driving.
No, there are not laws against texting and driving. There are laws against having your phone in your hand. It doesn't matter whether you're listening to music, texting, or listening on your phone. You have to be hands-free, which means your phone cannot be in your hand.
What you're doing in terms of texting and sending emails is strictly legal according to.
Completely legal.
Thank you. That's why I wanted to ask about it.
And if I'm using an iMessage, there's no way they could ever track it to tell if I was or wasn't.
No, that's not the point.
But no, I am not doing anything illegal.
Okay, thank you.
Val?
Does edit work with, when you say schedule an event,
Yes.
and you want it,
We're gonna, yeah.
and you'll get there?
So you say edit, and it edits the title. You can edit the time. You can do whatever you want. So I'll get into that when I get into reminders and schedule. Let's do that. So now I can text while I'm driving. You kind of ran to the end there. So send Eric Spencer an email.
Which email address for Eric Spencer?
Home.
What's the subject of your email?
Just testing Siri.
Okay, what would you like the email to say?
I'm not going to send this because it was his birthday today and I already sent him an email. This is just a test, period.
Okay, Ken, here's your email message to Eric Spencer.
I can
Are you
now
ready to send it?
cancel.
Okay, I won't send this email.
So now I can text and drive, and I can email and drive. I can read my text messages. I can do that. I can kind of do Safari while I drive, but that's a whole different thing. Anyway, I can make the phone calls. I can tell it to call a certain person, if it's in your contacts, or remember, I can tell it to do a certain word. Now, inevitably, you're going to want, okay, who here still keeps an address, calendar in a little book? Okay. You need to take a calendar class from me and a contacts class from me because it makes it so easy. Believe it or not, if somebody puts a date in an email, you can tap on it and add it to your calendar. But I'm going to go, let me look at my calendar here because I want to find some conflicts like there always is on my calendar. Actually we have the MacNexus meeting. I'll do the 9th. So, now, if I want to use my calendar, I say schedule. And don't say schedule an appointment because it's going to say appointment. You would say schedule dentist at a certain time. So I'm going to do that. Hey, Scary. Hey, Scary. Hey. It worked. Hey, Siri. Schedule dentist for Tuesday, June 9th at 10 a.m.
I don't know what you mean by session for Tuesday, June 9th. I'm not sure what you said.
Schedule dentist for Tuesday, June 9th at 10 a.m.
Okay, I can create your meeting. Note that you already have an all-day event about WWDC for Monday. Shall I schedule it anyway?
Change time to 2 p.m.
Okay, I can create your meeting. Note that you already have an all-day event about WWDC for Monday. Shall I schedule it anyway?
Change title.
Okay, Ken, what would you like to call this meeting?
Dentist, comma, who likes the dentist, question mark.
Okay, I'll make that change to your event. Shall I schedule it?
Cancel.
All right, Ken, I'll leave it off your calendar.
Val?
Can you add, an alert?
No,
That's what I thought.
not yet. So we've got a calendar. So I said schedule. So now, when you're new to Siri, we can do Siri with training wheels. I can say, hey Siri, schedule.
I don't know what you mean by
Schedule dentist.
when is your event?
Tuesday, June 9th at 10 a.m.
Okay, I can create your meeting.
So
Note that. Okay,
I just
then,
hit the
I will
cancel.
create the event.
To rush through it. Okay? So now, that's how to, I can also say, actually I should have made it. I can say, change my dentist appointment to Wednesday the 10th or something like that. You can tell her to do that. But let's think about our good old, anybody have a yellow legal pad here? You've got a yellow legal pad. Hold that up so everybody can see it. All right. We all make lists. Or check them never. I make the list. I consider the task done, right? I've put it on the list. Done. So, when we make that list that we hope to accomplish and check things off, because there's a great little feeling of checking things off, it can be just a list, not time sensitive, nothing. It's just your list. So you can see how daunting the tasks are. Sometimes you like to start at the bottom or in the middle, or you pick a task and do it. But some tasks are time sensitive. Like if I need to leave a note to say, on Wednesday, remember to take out the trash. With the sprinkler requirements, you can say, on Monday, remind me to reset the sprinkler alarm. But actually, the trash might be better, where you could say, let's say you're out and about, and you could say, when I get home, remind me to take out the trash. Or when I get home, remind me to reset the sprinkler. Or, if I'm right here, and I want to remember when I leave here, I have to go pick up the dry cleaning, I could go to my reminders and say, when I leave here, remind me to pick up the dry cleaning. And as soon as I get about 300 feet away, it'll pop up. Or how many times have you had a duck quack on your phone and say, ooh, I need to call that person when I leave here. And so you say, when I leave here, remind me to call so-and-so. Reminders will do that. So it can be just a reminder, it can be time-based, or location-based. So we'll make a reminder. At 9:43 a.m., remind me to tell the class it's great that they're still awake.
Here's a reminder for tomorrow at 9:43 a.m. Shall I create it?
Edit time.
When would you like to be reminded?
Today at 9:43 a.m. Oh, wait.
Sorry, Ken. I
My
can't
phone's-
remind you in the past.
Change,
Shall I create it?
change time to 11:21.
Here's a reminder for
Change time to 11:23.
Here's a reminder for tomorrow at 11:23 a.m. Shall I create it?
Change it to today at 11:23 a.m.
Okay, your reminder now says a.m. Shall I create it? Okay then.
Look at what threw me. Look at my damn phone. Class will start in about 20 minutes. So. God, I told you my phone was freaking out.
You're on the East Coast. Yeah.
No, I'm in Hawaii.
Yeah. Right.
See ya. Wow. All right, I'm going to look at a real clock on my computer. At 11:24, remind me to tell the class that it's wonderful they're still awake, even though the clock is wrong.
Here's your reminder for today at 11:24 a.m. Shall I create it?
Yes. Wow, that's
Okay,
rude.
I'll remind you.
So now if I'm ever late to an appointment with you guys, you know it's because my phone is off by 2 hours. All right, so that's a reminder. Reminders are great. Your reminder will pop up on all of our devices, okay? So it's really, really, really cool and really great. And don't forget, location-based or just a reminder, okay?
So when you scheduled the dentist appointment, did it go to?
Now that was scheduled, that's a calendar.
Okay, now, did that go to my iCal?
Your calendar, yeah, it's now calendar. Yes. So scheduling is putting it on the calendar. Reminding is just a little pop-up, and because a reminder is usually a little bit closer in time, but I could say on Monday at 9 a.m., remind me I need to call the dentist to make an appointment, okay? That would be a reminder that would pop up. And the beauty is it pops up on all your devices, and wow, it didn't show up on my phone. There it is. Tell the class how wonderful they are. And now I have the option of snoozing it if I wanted to, and then it pops up in the reminders. Go ahead, Keith.
Does your iPhone clock change time as you move through time zones, or is it supposed to?
Well, it wouldn't be off by like so many minutes. It's just freaked out right now. I have to reboot it. I've never seen this.
No, but is it supposed to change time when you move through
Depends
time
on, it usually does, yes. It's supposed to, but that's a setting.
Okay.
So, oh, and that, hey, back to photos on phones, and I'll get to your question in a second. Whenever I go shoot with this, I make sure I at least take one photo with my iPhone, because that geotags where I am. I can always remember where I took that photo. You're on a cruise. One city looks just like the other. So when I'm taking photos with this, I also take a quick photo with my iPhone, because it geotags it and time tags it. Marilyn?
Yes, the key to putting in a reminder is just have the word reminder in what you're reminding.
Remind me.
Oh, remind me, and for calendar, it's always.
Schedule. And then the next one is notes. So I'm going to, go ahead.
Wouldn't your Canon have
Geolocation.
in metadata?
This one doesn't have a GPS in it. So not one of those
Only
big
the newer
fancy
models
ones.
have GPS.
Oh, this was new. It just doesn't have it.
Oh.
Okay. So I'm going to go to my iPhone. Go ahead.
Quickie. How do you say that? If you want to remind it, say 2 hours before the meeting or something like that, you put that specific.
In the
time.
calendar, you can put an alert and tell it to alert you beforehand. That would be in the calendars class.
Oh, okay.
But you can tell a reminder to do it. It just pops up like it did. Okay, so you'll notice I have notes up here. So, add toothpaste to my Costco note.
Which note shall I update? Costco or Costco? I'm not sure what you said then. Which note? Costco. Okay, I made the change to your note.
So there it did it. So it means I have another Costco note somewhere. So let's fix that, because I use this a lot. No, I only have one Costco note. Okay. We'll see if she... Delete toothpaste from my Costco note.
Sorry, Ken. I
Oh.
can't delete notes.
Add never mind to my Costco note.
Which note? Costco
You
or
know,
Costco?
I think the phone's freaking out. So, anyway, but you saw it added toothpaste. So, anyway, so I can take that note, and then what happens is it shows them all my devices. So when I go to Costco, I can just delete them from there. The first line of the note is always the title of the note. So, and it's weird. You have to enunciate the T in Costco, okay?
my old LG phone, there was a tip calendar thing. And you could type in the amount of the sale,
There's apps. There's tons of apps that'll do that.
the restaurant bill,
But Siri will do it.
and then it gives you 10%, 15%.
Okay. There's tons of apps that do it.
For this.
Yeah, there's great tip apps. But I can just say, Siri,
No, because what, I've not finished it. There might be 3 of us who divide the bill. And so I can type in how many people.
calculate the tip and split the bill of $98 for 3 people.
Checking my sources. Here's what I found on the web. For
There is a way to
calculating the
say
tip
it,
and split the
but
bill.
there's tons of tip apps. Trust me, there's 1,200,000 apps. There are wonderful tips apps there that'll kick butt on whatever that did. So do an app search, do the App Store search and find a tip app you like. But Siri will do it if I phrase it correctly. Pete knows how to phrase it. I don't do it. But it'll split the check and calculate the tip. Siri will do it for you. Siri uses this thing called Wolfram Alpha, which is this incredible database of just other things. I can say, I did this just the other day. What is the elevation of Cusco, Peru?
Let me think.
Actually, that won't be it. Won't.
The elevation of
Yeah, there it
Cusco,
is.
Peru is about 11,316 feet.
So it's how you phrase it. You can Google that, how do you do a tip with Siri, and you'll find it. So notes can be anything. We're doing it now. I could dig in and we can get into calendar and how to make events, but it's so much easier to do it with Siri. And let's see. I'm trying to think of any other. Go ahead, Bob. Alarm. Oh, God, thank you. So set my alarm for 11:32 a.m.
I set an alarm for 11:32 a.m. Pretty soon.
Set my timer for
I
3
don't understand.
Set my timer for 3 minutes.
Okay, 3 minutes and counting.
She used to say, "Don't burn that egg." So it's a great way. And by the way, if you don't use your iPhone as your alarm when you travel or every day, it's the best thing there is. You can tell it to be every weekday. And it's really weird. You put the alarm up and you say Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then it says, oh, weekdays. Or Saturday, Sunday, it says, oh, weekend. And so you can set it however you want. Now, alarms and timers, even if you have the phone on mute, the little button on mute, it will still ring through. So don't set an alarm to go off while you're sitting in the movie. Okay? So, and then if I want to edit this, I just tap the screen and it takes me right to that alarm, or that's the timer. And then the other one is the alarm. Of course, it just set it at 11:32. Of course, my phone says 9:41. It hasn't moved, has it?
No.
Oh, I know why. A little bit of trivia here. So I use Reflector usually to show my screen, my phone on the screen, but I'm actually using QuickTime because I can have it hooked by a cable because I was having trouble with it. The iPhone, since the day it was introduced, always said 9:41. Because on my birthday in 2007 is when Steve Jobs introduced the iPhone. He did it just for me. And they figured out, those presentations, believe me, he was the best. And if you ever, there's our alarm. So I hit snooze or okay, I'll hit okay. Our timer's still going. So what happened is, they had like 3 different phones and they had all these series of things. The phone was still 6.5 months before it was released. This was January 9th, 2007. It was released June 29th, 2007. So they had a certain routine they could go through on the phone because they didn't want to just show a movie of doing it. They wanted to show hands-on. And there were all these failures that could have happened, and there's some great podcasts about it, about the guys that worked on the phone. Well, when Safari worked, that guy took a swig from the flask they had. And then the next guy over to him is the guy that did mail. Well, when it worked, oh, he took a swig from the flask. And it was just great because they'd all worked so painlessly hard on this. And when Steve Jobs did the presentation, he came up on stage. We all knew there was going to be something called the iPhone coming out. And then there was like, well, Cisco owns the rights to the word iPhone and all this other crap. But anyway, oh, there's our timer. It's done. So we knew that a phone was coming out. But remember back to when the iPhone came out, there were Trios and Blackberries, and to get on the internet was just, was the worst thing in the world. So Steve Jobs got up on stage, and he said, and today we're introducing a new iPod, the best ever. And we're introducing a new internet communicator. And we're introducing a phone. And everybody was stunned silence. And then he said, an iPod, an internet communicator, a phone. And people started to get it. It's all three in one. And when he pulled it out of his pocket, what they figured was it would happen at 9:41. So every picture you see of an iPhone is 9:41. The next bit of trivia is, if you ever go look at an ad for a regular watch, it will show at 10:10 because the hands are in a position where it interferes least with what's on the screen. Apple, in their wisdom, said, let's do that, but we're going to make it be at 10:09. And so any picture of the Apple Watch is at 10:09. And have you seen that? If you got to go check it out at the Apple Store. It's great. The watch, I know people haven't embraced it all yet. You will eventually. But the coolest thing in the world is turning on Mickey Mouse and watching his feet tap to every second. So, and I'm not a big Disney fan, but it's just really cool. So, I should mention, since we're talking about the watch briefly, bear with me one sec here. I'm new at this. Took 3 weeks for me to get it. Did you guys hear that honk? Yeah. That's my watch honking the horn on my car. So it takes my heartbeat. It can do other things. So the watch is in its infancy. Siri, again, the time you invest in Siri will manifest itself later with the watch. I can do things like give me directions to Sacramento International Airport.
Getting directions to Sacramento International Airport. Starting route to Sacramento International Airport. Head east on M Greenway.
Find In-N-Out Burger on my route.
Here is what I found.
So those are on my route. So now I'll go back in and I want to cancel the thing. So I don't have to type in Sacramento International Airport. I can say find the nearest Starbucks. I can say give me directions to this. I can even sometimes say a street address. Watt Avenue is pretty tough because Watt doesn't sound like anything. Single syllable words are very hard for it to do. But I can say, what's the best sushi restaurant near, what's the nearest sushi restaurant?
Okay, here is what I found.
Okay. What's the best sushi restaurant nearby?
Okay, Ken, here is what I found.
Its rate, the first one was the closest. The next one is by its Yelp rating. And I simply tap it. And in fact, if I'm in the car and have a headset, it'll say, do you want me to call it or give you directions to it? And it'll do it. Go ahead.
If you ask it another question about location, does it cancel the previous request?
Well, it's right now up. It's giving you the result. I can tap on it, but otherwise it's done. Once she's giving you the result, unless I say, drive me to the nearest sushi restaurant, and then she will do it. Or call the nearest sushi restaurant.
Call a Bento Japanese restaurant on 4128 El Camino Avenue in Arden Arcade.
No.
Okay.
Sometimes you can be going on the freeway and it says, find the nearest gas station, and it'll come up with a list of them. They'll be north or south of you. It doesn't really know your direction, but it'll come up and it'll say, do you want this one? You say, no, skip to the next one. You keep going like that. So it's very, very handy. Again, you don't have to manually go in and do all this, and she's searching the Apple Maps to try find you this information. And, you know, it's give you directions, it'll do it. It's amazing. Just play with it. You can't get hurt. You can't hurt her feelings. But the reason I wanted you to dictate first was because if you'll notice, Siri, I only touch it to activate it. What happens is she's a little impatient sometimes. She doesn't give you time to formulate your thoughts and your words. You have to formulate your thoughts and your words before you press Siri. Because when you get to use Siri a lot, you want her to move on to the next thing. So she assumes you want to move on to the next thing. So that's why I recommend practicing with your dictation. You don't have to send the email, you just practice your dictation. And then go into Siri and then be ready to say what you want beforehand. Because it can get a little frustrating because you can't really adjust the amount of time she pauses. So, other Siri tricks that I've missed? Rocky, you always have some good ones. Anything you can think of?
One question. Do they have a list of the commands, that sort of thing?
Yeah, Apple has a Siri website. So if somebody can email me, and I'll post that at kenspencer.com. Apple only recently put up a Siri website that gives you those commands and stuff. And then I always use imore.com, and I'm going to link that because they have a complete Siri guide that's good. They also have a guide on all the photos, which I'm going to post at kenspencer.com for you too. So it's funny how Apple's this great company, but they seem a bit lacking in trying to leave breadcrumbs on how to do these different things. And frankly, it's just through me reading a lot and experimenting with Siri since day one. I mean, to me, Siri's been the greatest thing for me. I can be driving around and I can just make an appointment. Val?
So you can schedule an appointment, but can you say set an alert on your calendar?
I don't think so.
So you have to experiment with it.
Yeah, and so what happens is a lot of times you can have your default be set an alert 15 minutes before. So it's whatever your default is in your calendar is what it will do. So on something like that, it's probably better to do a reminder in conjunction with it. For instance, Southwest. You know, if you get the Southwest app and you fly Southwest, United, American, all those have apps now. And when you get to the airport, if you've done it right, that little QR code will show up. You scan, you hold your phone up to the scanner, the TSA will let you buy and do it. And actually, believe it or not, the QR codes will go on here now. So I don't even have to take my phone out of my pocket. I can look really cool and put it up there to that. And then, of course, it goes dead, so you got to wake it up again and go like that. And it gets through it. And it's really great. And that's all part of what this, all part of Passbook and Apple Pay and stuff. So it seems a bit geeky at this point, but when you start embracing it, and again, Siri's going to be a little bit of a struggle in the beginning. I don't want to lead you astray on that, but the time you invest in it will manifest itself over time so dramatically, and it uses just a teeny portion of your data because it's only recording a little bit of audio and it's sending back text. So, and all the heavy-duty lifting is done at Apple's supercomputer. I envision a time when we're going to be able to have Siri on our computers also. We do have dictation on our computers, but not Siri. So.
When you take a screen, it's on your iPhone.
Yeah, the question was, can you take a screen dump, or I prefer to say screenshot, of what's on your screen? So the way to do it on any iOS device is you have the home button and you have the sleep wake button. So I can click them both and it flashes, and now that's going to be in my camera roll. There it is. That's what I tell a lot of people. You know, whenever I come over to somebody's house to help them, whatever error it is that was showing up is never there. So I tell them, take a screenshot and email it to me and I can see what it is. So whatever's on your screen. The home and the sleep wake button, you tap them at the same time. Press and hold them at the same time. The sleep wake button is the only other button that's not volume on your phone. It's on the right hand side on the six.
On the right hand.
Right there. No, you got to do them both at the same time, right? What?
Isn't this the off?
Yeah, no, it's not off. It's sleep. Sleep wake button. Never turn your iPhone or your iPad off. Let them go to sleep. And you press them both at the same time. Well, you got to turn your screen on. There you go. So, when your screen goes dark, it's asleep. Your iPad will last for up to 30 days like that. Your phone uses very little energy when it's dark. Now, your iPhone may have some battery issues as it gets a little older, but also what really wears your battery down is if you're in very low cell phone reception areas. Because the first purpose of the phone is to try and make phone calls for you. So it's constantly trying to find a tower. Okay? You can put it on airplane mode, but then you can't do anything. You know, it's that's just so weird that my phone says 9:41. I keep looking at that, but everything's working. But that's why I couldn't do reminders in the past. What's really weird I've noticed with Siri lately is, let's try this. What's the current temperature in Paris, France?
It's currently 70 degrees Fahrenheit in Paris, France.
Up till about 2 weeks ago, it would say, I can't do something that's in the past or something like that, because it was something to do with, it was taking the date there or the hour there versus here. Or, let's see. What's the current temperature in Sydney, Australia?
It's currently 48 degrees Fahrenheit.
But it was telling me I can't do something that's in the future, I think. Yeah, because they're ahead of us, right? So it would tell me, I can't tell you what the temperature is in the future. And it was really bizarre. And it used to work all the time. Now it does again. So they fixed something on their end. And that's what you have to remember is, Apple is constantly fine-tuning Siri. It has improved dramatically from the very beginning. There are still glitches, and when we think about this, it's recording what you say, sending it out over the internet to Maiden, North Carolina, and then coming back to you. Any little spot in the way can create a problem along there. Okay? So embrace Siri, do what you want, have it do your calls, have it do your appointments, and if it screws up a few times, don't worry about it. And make sure you put a disclaimer on the bottom of your email that says, hey, it's not me, it's Siri. I'll show you where you can change. I like Siri as a female voice. I'm going to show you where you can change it to a male voice if you would like. So we go into Settings, General, Siri, and then you can change the language if you want, but I wouldn't. But the voice gender, there's only two choices. There's no Bruce gender here. What I don't understand is the whole family's first name starts with K's, right? Chloe, Kendall, Chris, all this, and then he starts his with a C for Caitlin. Excuse me, she. Anyway. And, you know, maybe in the future there'll be special voices you can get. But, oh, this is new. Remember the voice feedback where it was reading back to me? This voice feedback only used to be when it was hands-free. Now I can tell it to do it always. So it still won't do it when it's in your hand like that. And again, if you don't want the Hey Siri on, if you don't want Hey and the word Siri on, you can turn it off. Again, if you have it on and you're late at night watching the news, it will pop up every so often. I don't know. Oh, so I'm listening to a podcast. I listen to the the Mac Break Weekly and stuff. And now they've decided, because they screw everybody up who is at home listening to the podcast, if they say those two words, that it activates everybody's phones. So they say, hey, Shlomo, is what they say now on the podcast. So from now on, when I say, hey, Shlomo, you know I really mean the word hey and the word Siri. I can't think of any. Anybody else have any Siri things? We'll have a little more fun with it. So, what does the fox say? What does the fox say?
Chow, 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 chow.
There's some movie with that. What was your question?
Using Siri on your MacBook.
You can't. You can do dictation. So let me show you guys that really quick because it does kind of tie in. And the more you use dictation, the more comfortable you get with Siri. So let me just fire up this. So every Mac, if you have an Apple keyboard, you've got an FN button, which stands for function, but it really means fun. So if I double tap the function button, a little microphone pops up, comma, and you can dictate, period. The first time you do it, it will ask if you want to enable dictation and enhance dictation. Same thing, anywhere you type. You double tap the function button to activate it and single tap the function button to stop it. It does have a 30-second. And again, it's only speech to text. And it's, for me, it's such a time saver. Because, you know, when you think about it, an email message is supposed to be usually just a quick blurb back and forth. It does that well. It's not likely to make it so you can write a book. Bob?
I cheat on that a little bit. I'm writing a book, and I type fairly fast. It doesn't keep up with me. So what I do is I turn it off, and when I come to a word I can't spell, which is part of the real word, I tap it, pronounce the word, it creates it, and then I go on.
You know, and that's a great point, and it's great because what Bob's saying is that it does really get these. Hang on, I have to be in a spot where I have a keyboard. It can elucidate upon very esoteric words for you, period. So, and the other thing you can do is if you do type the word, press and hold, and sometimes it'll come up with choices too if you get the little underline.
One comment on that. Sometimes you need to hesitate until the little microphone starts bouncing.
Great point. So it's both with Siri and dictation, always wait for the beep. And you're all going to do it. You're going to press it. Okay, I'm ready now. All right. Oh, this is what I'm supposed to say. So, be ready with what you're going to say. Pretend like it's a loaded gun. You're not going to pull the trigger until you're ready to. Tap it, but then wait a second for it to beep. That's with Siri, and that's with just dictation. You have to wait for it to beep. It means it's ready for you. And sometimes it'll take a little while because it's kind of been asleep. These are pretty intense things that are going on with these devices. So it wants to make sure, okay, I'm ready for you now. It beeps. In dictation, you don't have to be as quick. But with Siri, you got to be ready or she's going to say, whoop, did you mean to say something? I'm not listening.
Where do you find that
Function key.
on the Mac?
Every Apple keyboard has a function key on it.
On the Mac?
No, it's on any computer, any Macintosh with an Apple keyboard. If is there anyone using a non-Apple keyboard on any of their Macs? It's okay, but you can just tell dictation to use like some other button. But by default, it's the function key. The first time you'll tap it, it says, "Do you want to use dictation?" In fact, the first time you do dictation with the microphone here, it'll say that too. You say yes. And then on the Mac, it'll say, do you want to use enhanced dictation? And the only difference is it downloads it so you don't have to be on the internet, and it will type as you go, as you saw it happened with that. I don't currently have that on mine. The biggest mistake people make when they're dictating is trying to read it while it's doing it. Okay, so don't read it while you're dictating because it's going to be slightly behind, and you're going to say that word twice. And
like when you call the radio and they tell you your radio off, so you're like.
Well, here's the okay, I have to come clean. There is a problem with using Siri and dictation a lot. I don't talk on the phone much anymore, which is great. Text is wonderful. But if I'm leaving a voicemail message, I go, "Hi, this is Ken, comma, give me a call when you get a chance, period." And I go, "Oh crap, I'm not dictating." I swear to God, it's happened more times than not. And I'm like, yeah. And I'm waiting for the other person to beep. But it is hilarious when it happens, and you just kind of go, because it's not like I can say, "Okay, I'm not calling you." It's already on the record. Luckily, most of the people that I would call are using it too. But God, it's embarrassing, but it's also very humorous. And that is no lie. I've done it at least 5 times. So you catch yourself after the first or second punctuation.
How do you turn off that emoji thing on your?
Oh, okay. So if you go into settings, general, keyboard, keyboards, and edit, and take off emoji. And you can always add it later. You're not deleting it for good. Okay. General, settings, general, keyboard. Keyboard's about 20 items down. Click on keyboard. Then at the top, does it say keyboards too?
Oh, there you go.
By the way, and there's all these other keyboards you can do with Apple now too, and I was really excited for them to come back, and I just haven't invested the time in them, but there's some, Apple has allowed more people to make different keyboards. So now when I go and I'm going to do mail and my keyboard, you'll notice, oh, no, you won't notice. Oh, I was going through all that on the screen. I'm sorry, you guys. Now you'll notice that I have simply the microphone. I don't have the emoji here. Because I've had that. I tap the microphone sometimes and it hit the emoji.
So you have to actually delete it.
Yeah, but you can add it again. You're just taking it off of your keyboards. So I don't know why I did it. Again, like I said, I think I've sent 3 emojis ever. Again, speak your punctuation. That's the hardest part to get used to. That comes with practice, and that comes with, again, kind of thinking in phrases. End of a phrase usually is a comma or a period. You can go back and edit whatever you want. Practice with dictation, and it'll make your transition to Siri much easier. Okay? Any other questions? KenSpencer.com. I'll post all the links about the photography things. Feel free to email me. But if you email me, you have to dictate it. I'll be able to tell, trust me. Yes. All right, we're going to turn off the recording. Oops.